Hi, thank you for checking out my compendium. My name is Ella Peterson. I use she, her pronouns, and I am graduating from Arizona State's Masters of Arts in Social Justice and Human Rights in the summer of 2023. The title of my compendium is The Intersection of Activism, Advocacy, and Academia, Understanding Power and Centering Empowerment. As a quick note before we get started, I do want to include a content warning. We do engage with concepts of power-based violence, specifically sexual violence. So please take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself. This is really meant as a space to find out more, pursue knowledge, but your well-being is the priority. So please take care of yourself. This compendium demonstrates the need to center the lived experiences of individuals to both develop a deeper understanding of the current situations, systems of power, but also to collaborate on initiatives that empower those individuals and generate positive change. Power and empowerment are central to this project. So it's important that we kind of spend a moment to look into those. By hearing and acknowledging lived experiences, we have an opportunity to better understand the systems of power at play and how individuals interact and make meaning of those systems. That in turn informs initiatives for change, ensuring that they are meeting and addressing the needs of an actual population, that they're doing good, they're doing what they should be doing rather than what we think is necessary. With power, that really is referring to the ability to influence others, events, situations. It takes a lot of different forms. So there's political, economic, social, intellectual power, and those different forms of power can be obtained through wealth, knowledge, position, or by force. Power enables the perpetuation of the way things are. It enables this continued system of oppression. With empowerment, it's all about providing people with tools and knowledge and resources and opportunities. It puts power back in their hands. Empowerment, it really generates the ability for individuals and for communities that have typically been marginalized to challenge oppressive norms. It enables advocating for oneself, and it enables and aims to dismantle these power imbalances and truly promote a more inclusive society. Framework. This is what helps researchers make sense of their pursuits. It's serving as a guide. It helps to add context and meaning to the findings of research. And it's also a way to help us connect new knowledge with existing knowledge. So there's that growth, which is so important. Intersectionality is one of the core frameworks that I call on for this compendium. And it acknowledges that we as individuals have a lot of different pieces to ourselves that make us unique individuals. And these identities, they shape our experiences, they shape how we make meaning of those experiences, and they shape how we understand the world. And because of this, because we experience the dynamics of power and system of oppressions differently, there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution to systems of oppression. That's where empowerment comes in and really tries to meet people and communities where they're at to advocate for themselves. With interpretivism, This is an approach that really centers on lived experiences. And it acknowledges that rather than one single reality, one single truth, our unique experiences create multiple realities. Um, it it focuses in on the insights and the depth of lived experiences, and how they provide a better, deeper insight into the systems of power, into human behavior, and how we make meaning of our different experiences. Um, Empowerment comes from centering lived experiences, and so they are very, very closely tied. I do have a brief note here on the production of knowledge. Power dynamics play a very significant role in shaping how knowledge is produced, influencing what knowledge is generated, new knowledge, what knowledge it influences what knowledge is validated and disseminated for wider consumption. When we acknowledge the role that power plays in knowledge production, and we work to collaborate across disciplines, and when we center the lived experiences of marginalized individuals, our knowledge base becomes a much more accurate representation of the world that we actually live within. So it's important that we're critical consumers of knowledge, thinking about how and what has shaped the information that's available to us. Language, it's not just a neutral tool for communication, but it's a very powerful tool for expression. It shapes our perceptions, our attitudes, our behaviors, and the way we use language, it shapes meanings that we attribute to words and symbols. It influences how we perceive and make sense of the world and our place within that world. So it's very important that we think about the role language plays, particularly when we want to hear from individuals, and they will use language that suits their situation to the best that it can. I do have a few quotes here that were very prominent as I developed this project for you to think on as you go throughout the rest of this project. I included my About Me page in my framework section because who I am informs how and why I'm approaching this project. We just reflected on the production of knowledge, and so I think that this is a very apt example of that I have opinions, and I'm not an unbiased observer when it comes to this topic. In addition to that, I really hope that by being transparent and by offering you my authentic self, it fosters a sense of trust that enables you to engage more deeply with this project and envision the role that you might play in a movement for change. With our demonstrations, I just have a quick link here that links you to all of the different subsections. But first off is framework applied. So this really is a summary that sexual violence stems from attempts to maintain control and exert power. The demonstrations that follow this are selections of my coursework throughout my time in the social justice and human rights program, and they support my call for interpretivist research that enables us to acknowledge the intersection of our identities and how they inform our understanding of the world. And by centering these lived experiences and collaborating with the populations we intend to support, we can generate effective empowerment initiatives that meet actual needs and work to dismantle systems of oppression. First, this paper is from my research methods course, and it offers insight into how different methodologies offer different insights when you approach a research question. Specifically, in this case, sexual violence and perceptions around sexual violence. It really highlights the unique information you can get when you provide the opportunity for individuals to add their own language, their own understandings based on their experiences. Humanitarian action. This paper offers insight into current practices that are suggested for folks engaged in humanitarian work. There is very prominently a section that advocates for those that are engaged in humanitarian work, advocacy work, activism work, to kind of stay in your lane. You know, you can't be the expert in everything. You can't be the resource for every facet of every issue that every person might face. And you can't do everything well. And so it requires that various actors collaborate and work together to provide the most comprehensive assistance possible. In addition to that, this paper also draws attention to the power dynamics that are involved with humanitarian assistance. There are those with resources that they control, or the helper, and then those that they are helping. And so it really draws attention to my call for empowerment, that we are offering tools to individuals and communities to be able to help themselves rather than perpetuate this imbalance in power and resources. This paper, it really offers powerful insight that can be gained from interacting with individuals with lived experiences. This paper includes interviews with incarcerated pimps, law enforcement officers, social workers and advocates, victim survivors of sex trafficking, and commercial sex workers. Not only does this paper highlight how individuals have made meaning of their experiences, but also how that meaning informs their perceptions, specifically around the current initiatives that the Dutch government has in place. So it's a very apt example of the vast amount of knowledge we are missing out on by not centering lived experiences. Lastly, this paper really emphasizes the complexity of the intersection of our identities and how those intersections are contributing to movements for change. It continues this theme of highlighting the importance of centering lived experiences in collaborating with the individuals that we intend to help when we are developing empowerment initiatives, because we want to make sure that they are addressing the needs that actually need addressed. References, these are going to be all of the resources I've used throughout these demonstrations, as well as throughout the rest of this site. Do the thing. This is materials, sources, thought-provoking websites, blogs that I've come across that I wanted to put here for you to explore if you're interested in engaging beyond this site. they've been very impactful for me. So I wanted to provide them to you as well. I offer a brief note to you. There is its own separate video recording at the bottom of this page. This is a summary. This is a little, a very authentic demonstration of who I am, my experiences throughout this program, my hopes, and what I intended to do with this project, and what I hope it has done for you, my intentions. The video at the end does, it involves my cadence, right? My tones. And so if you do want to hear how I meant it to come across through those tones, the video is a great resource. Otherwise, if you want to read it and have your own internal monologue, that's awesome as well. Lastly, I have a lot of people to thank. I couldn't have been here, the person I am, without all of these individuals. But thank you for engaging in this work. Thank you for pondering on it. Thank you for exploring this very important concept that's very, very near and dear to my heart. I really appreciate you.